Many a time have I criticised NetherRealm Studios' story modes, not only for their subpar writing, but also for the mode structure. I've discussed how it fumbles character stories like Sub-Zero's by giving him a chapter too early and having all of his rivals have their final defeats at the hands of other characters. The character chapter system is nothing but a detriment to NetherRealm storytelling, but that doesn't mean every chapter is necessarily bad. Sub-Zero and Scorpion's chapter in MK11 would have been a solid conclusion to Kuai Liang's story if it had come 4 or 5 chapters later and seen the end of Noob, Frost and Sector, but there is one chapter that, without alterations, is a pretty solid take on the concept. That chapter is chapter 15, Winds of Change, Fujin. Let's discuss why. Fujin's chapter opens with the main group, himself, Nightwolf, Shang Tsung and Sindel, arriving on Shang Tsung's island to obtain Kronika's crown before Cetrion can take it from Jax, replacing the events of the Jax and Jackie chapter from the base game. Shang laments the deaths of his loyal monks, which humanises him a bit. Then, after a very unsubtle hint towards the Twindell twist, Cabal and Jade show up to accost the interlopers. Fujin stops the speedster in his tracks and delivers a pretty solid quip.
You may run like the wind, Cabal, but I command it.
And with the theme of our first fight established, we fight him. After this, Nightwolf and Sindel stay to ambush and distract Cetrion when she arrives, buying Fujin and Shang time to head for the crown. A solid justification for the party to split. After some banter that hints towards the endgame twist, the two reach Goro's lair and are confronted by Jax and Noob Saibot. Jax calls back to MK9 where he was imprisoned here by Shang, which is made a little sweeter by Bihan's presence, seeing how he fought Sonya here in front of Jax. Jax attacks Shang, leaving Fujin to Bihan. Fujin and Bihan call back to MK Mythologies where Bihan, then Sub-Zero, defeated Fujin at his temple. This sets up Fujin for redemption for his failure to stop Bihan from unwittingly helping Quan Chi obtain the amulet, and everything bad that came as a result in both timelines. I'm not sure why Fujin claims Bihan ran away when Fujin clearly exploded back then, but maybe he means Bihan left him for dead instead of finishing the job. But this odd wording can be forgiven for what the scene represents. After this, Fujin saves Jax from Shang, but this fight between good guys can't be avoided since both are allied with villains. It's a good reason for them to be unable to talk it out yet, which is rare in these stories. After the fight, Jax opens up about his motivations, being driven by a desire to protect his family. He assumes Fujin can't relate, but Fujin differentiates himself from Raiden by connecting with Jax as a warrior who fights to protect, not to kill. It helps to flesh out Fujin, who hasn't been given much to distinguish him from his brother until now. And it's a moment where the team used knowledge of the previous version of events to accelerate developments, Jax's defection in this case. We then return to Nightwolf and Sindel outside, battling Cetrion. Considering Nightwolf had to sacrifice himself to stop the powered up Sindel back in MK9, it's nice not only to see them working together here, but also for Sindel to stop him from using the same move against Cetrion. This is the kind of wonderful potential an alliance of heroes and villains can have. This leads to a fight where we play as Sindel with Nightwolf as an assist. This is a unique scenario as we've never had two characters to utilise at once in any of these story modes. Any other time, Nightwolf would be too weak to fight and Sindel would have to do it alone. Having the two be used in gameplay here not only bucks the trend of one character doing everything for a while and being a jobber in every other scene, but it also shakes up the gameplay formula with a new mechanic and helps to better justify this Elder God's loss without the crown to power someone up. Then the whole team unleash everything they have on Cetrion, including a nod to the Deception intro, courtesy of Shang Tsung. After some ominous words about how we're not following the same plot beats as the main campaign anymore, which we really are just with some Mortal Kombat 1 style tweaking, Fujin and Shang interrupt the Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight. We now have an MK9 style handicap match where Fujin fights both while Shang is frozen. We fought Bihan with Fujin, now we fight his old moveset alongside the man born through that game's plot. It's also neat to have Scorpion and Sub-Zero team up in gameplay and not just story. And again, Shang's constant presence is a perfect justification to let us fight a bunch of heroes since they think Fujin is being manipulated. Raiden and Liu Kang then approach and we're teased with a matchup of Shang Tsung versus Liu Kang with one of the God Brothers on each side, but instead Raiden uses the amulet again. We get the same callback to MK vs DC Universe as last time, but now with the accurate character being referenced.
Shang Tsung is not the enemy this time.
Scorpion is not the enemy this time. Shang Tsung is not the enemy this time.
Fujin wants to deal with Raiden by himself, so we get a 1v1 between the brothers, which helps Raiden come back to his senses even without the visions of past timelines. This all helps to solidify a bond between the two brothers, the sole surviving gods of Earth that has been sorely missing up to now. The weakest part of this chapter is Kronika's time stop being inconsistent with its capabilities, its aesthetic, and the characters present from last time. But the three heavy hitters kick Kronika's ass in a potential nod to the Deception intro, which is very satisfying after how much of a letdown she was in the main story. And with that, the best chapter in a NetherRealm story mode concludes. The chapter makes excellent use of its cast and mechanics, offering a couple of fights that deviate from the norm and manage to find a connection between every one of its combatants, even characters as disconnected as Fujin and Cabal. We have grudge matches, heart-to-heart, thematic battles, rivals working together, other characters being playable as needed, solid justifications for characters to fight or not to fight, and generally good character writing. Everything you could want in one of these things is in here. The only real problem is that the best chapter in MK11 leads directly into the worst chapter of MK11. But that's like holding MKX accountable for leading into MK11. We don't do that here. Hopefully Mortal 1 Kombat can have a chapter as good as this. And if not, maybe the fanbase will finally challenge NetherRealm to stop using this structure. This chapter's quality is so rare because of this structure. And if it's still not offering anything to the narrative after the 6th iteration, then it's time to try something new. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you. Today's recommended video is Fujin, the First Airbender by somebody. It's one of those meme combo videos which also highlights the cool wuxia influence Fujin took on in MK11. It's technically educational? A somebody video with legit culture? I don't like this new timeline, I want off.